Welcome to Biff's Mystery Theater. I have many tales to tell you. Ghost stories, murder stories, and tales that will make your bones chill. Join me, won't you? For Theater of the Mind, where you always have the best seat in the house. Now close your eyes and turn off the lights.
And now, Rub Down and Out, starring Lloyd Bridges. A tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
You'd think that Southern California would be the last place where a health club would pay off. With all that fresh air, sunshine, Pacific Ocean they advertise. But there's always guys that want to put on muscles and dames that want to take off pounds. So my little enterprise on the Sunset Strip was paying off real good. Zach's Sunset Health Studio, I called it. Of course, you get all kinds of trade on the Strip. Legitimate and the other kind. Big Willie Spang was one of the other kind. A lard tub, but loaded. Big Willie was known around town as a promoter, but nobody seemed to know what he promoted. Used to come in every Friday night around 7 for a sweat in the steam room and a rub down just before he left for the fights. That's how I found out at least one thing that Big Willie had promoted. A beautiful wife.
Oh, pardon me.
Yeah? Well, what can I do for you?
Is Mr. Spang through yet?
Yeah, I think he is. You ought to be out any minute now,
Mrs. Spang.
Oh, well, Mrs. Spang. My name is Zach Weston. It's nice meeting you.
Oh, thank you.
Oh,
me, Frankie.
there he is now.
Wrong on that kid. Joycey. There you are. Hey, Zach, this is my wife, Joycey.
Yeah, we just met.
This is Zach's partner, Joycey. This is Frankie Schatz.
Hello.
Howdy, Mrs. Spang. Glad to know you.
Hey, Zach, I gave Frankie some tips, boy. You bet 'em, I say. You make a few bucks, huh? Make yourselves $1 million.
We appreciate it, Big Willie.
Yeah, you oughta. It's good advice. Well, let's go, Joycey. I don't want to be late. Good card tonight. Got a kid in the second bout. Gonna win it. You bet on him, boys. You bet like a Italian. You'll make a buck, huh? Come on, Joycey. See you guys.
Yeah, good night, folks. Am I seeing things?
Oh, you got 20/20 vision, kid. That was for real.
Ooh, Papa, buy me something like that. Ooh.
Class, Frankie. Class.
What does it take? I'm 5'10" with an electric personality.
And a thin wallet.
Yeah. Look, Zach, let's get rich, huh? Let's make a buck like Big Willie says. Let's make $1 million and get something like that, one for each of us, just like Big Willie.
I didn't tell Frankie, but I didn't think that it'd take $1 million. It wasn't what she said. She hadn't said anything, really. It was just the way she looked at me. The kind of a look that tells you this is a beginning. The kind of a look that tells you the phone will be ringing soon. Tomorrow, next day, as soon as possible. Hello?
Is this Zach?
Uh-huh.
This is Mrs. Spang, Zach.
Yeah, I know, Mrs. Spang.
Big Willie talks about you all the time. You've done wonders for him.
Oh, well, I'm glad he thinks so.
Zach, how about doing something for my muscles?
Well, I'd say your muscles are fine, just the way they are, Mrs. Spang.
Well, you do advertise for men and women, don't you?
Yeah, that's right.
Well, then, can I make an appointment?
When would it be convenient for you, Mrs. Spang?
Wednesday afternoon, about 3.
All right, that'll be fine, Mrs. Spang.
Oh, Zach, why not forget the missus? I feel I've known you a long time. Through my husband.
Wednesday afternoon at 3 for your workout, Mrs. Spang. Wednesday, she showed up at 3. Frankie had taken the afternoon off, and the place was empty except for Benny, the punch-drunk fighter who helped out around the joint. Hey, Benny. Benny!
Yeah, Zach, yeah? Hey, you see that, Zach? Huh? I'm getting good, huh? Hey, maybe one of these days, huh, Zach?
Yeah, Benny. One of these days you'll be back in the ring.
Hey, what do you want, Zach, huh?
The gym, huh? I want to use the gym. You go back and rinse out the steam room. Go ahead, Benny. Take 5.
Oh, sure, Zach. Hey, you bet. Yeah, I'll take 5. Rinse it out. You bet. Yeah.
Well, Zach, you all ready for me?
Yeah, all set.
How do we begin?
Well, I think we'll start off your first day kind of light. Mm-hmm. It's not good to exert yourself too much the first day. Let's try this horse first, huh? Can you get up on it?
Oh, sure, with a little help.
All right, here. Use my hands for a step.
Okay. Oh, I'm falling.
The kiss wasn't soft. It was hard and demanding. It was a kiss that yelled hunger. She held on to me like she was fighting for her life. Finally, I broke away from her, and she looked up at me as if she were really surprised.
Is that a regular part of the course?
That's a part of it you bought, isn't it?
What else can you teach me?
Mrs. Spang, I've suddenly noticed that your muscles are in good condition. They're fine. We can't do a thing for you.
All right. Send me a bill.
No, you're not satisfied. My clients never pay when they're not satisfied. Thursday went by, then Friday. Finally, Saturday afternoon, she called. Big Willie was out of town for a few days, she said. At 7, she picked me up at the joint in her red convertible, and a little after 8, we were eating lobster in a quiet place on the beach near Malibu.
What is it, Zach?
What's what?
What is it about you? What is it with the way you look at me and the way I look at you?
It's a fire, Joyce. A fire that never should have been started.
Well, how do we put it out?
I don't think we do.
Oh, say nice things to me, Zach.
You're another man's wife.
He's not a man, he's a... Oh, I hate him, Zach. You know it's possible for a woman to hate a man she's married to?
You made a promise, remember?
People who are desperate make all kinds of promises. Oh, I've honored him and I've obeyed him. But I broke my promise to love him. Zach, tell me what I want to hear, please.
You want me to say I love you? I love you. Wrong? Of course it was wrong. But a thing like this doesn't end in just one night. There were other nights when Willie had to leave town because of the boys from back east. We found ourselves taking long drives along the coast. Then when the heat was off and he came back, we couldn't see each other. I was like a caged animal waiting. I couldn't call her when he was in town. She had to call me. Hello?
Oh, Zach. Listen, Zach, I've got to talk to you.
What's the matter?
Well, I can't tell you over the phone. I think he knows, Zach. I think he knows about us, and I've got to talk to you.
All right, where?
Well, I'll pick you up in front of the signboard at Sunset and Doheny. 8 o'clock.
Okay.
I'll drive the sedan.
All right, I'll be there. 8 o'clock came fast. I planted myself in front of the signboard and waited. A little after 8, the big sedan pulled up next to the curb. I walked over.
Hey, Weston.
What is this?
Get in the car before I blow your head off.
In a moment, we continue with the second act of Suspense. I have never read a collection of American folklore which had a section devoted solely to the downtrodden commuter, but there should be. There are legends galore about the miseries of these poor folk. For example, there was this train in Idaho that was a mite slow. Once an impatient passenger asked the conductor why the train had stopped. "There's a cow on the track," he said. "We have to chase her away." A little later, when the train stopped again, the passenger roared, "Now what's wrong?" "Oh," said the conductor serenely, "we just caught up with that cow again." Folklore belongs to every nation's legendary past, and I guess we Americans have our share of some good ones. Like the one about... but we'll have to save that one for the next time we travel your way. See you then. And now, starring Lloyd Bridges, Act 2 of Rub Down and Out.
Nobody said anything. This big moose in the back held a gun on me, and the little guy in the front seat drove out Sunset, then up Beverly Drive and on into the hills near Franklin Reservoir, where there aren't any houses, and there aren't any lights, and no traffic.
All right, get out. Go on, get out.
Now, will you tell me what this is all about?
Some advice, Mr. Weston. We've been asked by a friend to pass on some friendly advice.
What friend?
Don't you know, Mr. Weston? A friend who thinks you're a homewrecker.
Oh, homewrecker?
Oh, you have very bad manners, Mr. Weston. But you know it's impolite to interrupt while I'm giving you such important advice, Mr.
Oh, no,
Weston.
wait. Just...
My friend Henry here, he hates homewreckers too, don't you, Henry?
Yeah, I sure do. Oh!
What's the matter, Mr. Muscle Man? Can't you take it?
Double-crossed me. She
Oh,
double-crossed.
that's a very bad thing to say about my friend's wife.
Oh!
Very bad.
Oh, please.
You oughtn't to go around wrecking homes, Mr. Weston. You can get into a lot of trouble. All right, hold it, Henry.
I hate home wreckers, Opal.
Well, sure you
Just
do.
once more.
All right, Henry. That's enough, I said. I think Mr. Weston gets the point.
You can get over cuts and bruises and internal injuries. But can you get over a double-crossing dame? Well, you can bet that I was going to try. The next night was Friday, and Big Willie came in on the dot of 7. He got his steam and his rub-down and left, acting just the same as he always had. I'd have thought that I dreamt it all up, except for my split lip and the mouse under my eye. Then the phone rang, and I was sure that it had happened. Hello?
Zach? Oh, Zach, baby, what did they do to you?
Oh, what do you care?
Oh, Zach, honey, baby, darling, listen to me. He made me do it.
Yeah?
You think it was me, don't you?
Oh, what am I supposed to think?
No, it was him, Zach. He made me call you. There was nothing I could do. He was acting so crazy.
Well, I can't say that I blame him. This whole thing was wrong from the beginning. Never should have happened.
Oh, Zach, darling, that isn't true. We've done nothing wrong.
We haven't.
Oh, no, darling, because I love you. Did you hear me, Zach?
Yeah. Yeah, I heard you.
I've got to see you, darling. I've got to see you tonight.
Now, what happens tonight? If I get the rest of my teeth kicked in?
Oh, Zach, darling, you've got to believe me. I just can't go on living with him any longer.
All right, Joyce. Pick me up at Sunset in La Cienega. It was no use. I couldn't get away from her. Just the sound of her voice, and I was a goner. I told her that. Parked on the Palisades, looking out over the moonlit ocean.
I just can't stand him, Zach. I can't stand him a minute longer.
He was in tonight, same as usual.
Sure. He'll keep coming back.
Why? He hates my guts.
He gets his kicked that way. He's making fun of you, Zach. He's scared you, and he wants to keep on scaring you.
Well, I don't scare easy.
He hates you. Do you hate him?
You know I do.
Enough to kill him?
What?
For me? For us?
Yeah.
When will you kill him?
Oh, Joyce. How could I do a thing like that?
Make it look like an accident.
Like an accident?
Uh-huh.
Oh, baby, look, I don't know. Now, let me think about it, huh? Maybe I can figure out something.
Oh, Zach. Oh, baby, what would have happened to me if I hadn't found you?
In a moment, we continue with the third act of Suspense.
Memo on medals. Information about our military awards and decorations. Service medals are given for honorable performance by military personnel in specified geographical areas between specified dates. Unit decorations are those awarded to cited units of the armed forces for exceptional performance in armed conflict. In most cases, they are worn centered immediately above the right breast pocket, while individual decorations and service medals are worn over the left breast pocket. Many American awards and decorations may be presented to people of other countries, but not the Purple Heart. This distinguished and cherished medal was first conceived by George Washington during the Revolutionary War, the purpose being to demonstrate, in his own words, that the road to glory in a patriot army and free country is open to all. Awarding of the Purple Heart was discontinued after the Revolutionary War until it was revived in 1932 as a memorial to our first president on the occasion of the 200th anniversary of his birth. As recognition for special acts of public service, medals are among the most coveted of all awards.
And now, starring Lloyd Bridges, Act 3 of Rub Down and Out.
What are you going to do? Well, abroad like that, you do anything. Only murder is something that you don't commit every day of the week. It takes a little thought, a little planning. And I was an amateur. And one night, I got the answer in a hot flash. I was sitting all alone in the steam room after hours trying to figure out a way to kill Big Willie when I suddenly realized that it was hot. Too hot. The steam burned my nostrils, and I was so weak that I hardly made the door. Benny.
Yeah?
Hey, Benny.
Yeah?
Hey, were you monkeying with that steam valve?
Oh, yeah. I turned on full to rinse the room down.
Oh, boy, you nearly cooked me. Cooked me. Yeah, sure. There was only one door to the steam room. It was big, heavy, and it locked from the outside. And tomorrow was Friday. Big Willie's night for a steam bath. The next morning, Joyce called. I knew she would. She called every day now with the same question.
You got an idea yet?
Yes, I have, honey. At last.
What is it?
I'll tell you when I see you after the inquest.
Now, you're sure it'll work.
It can't miss.
Are you scared?
Not with you in my corner, baby.
Well, that's where I'm going to be, honey, from now on.
Scared? Yeah, sure I was scared. But I wasn't going to let on. There were a lot of things that could louse it up. But as the day dragged on, everything worked out my way. Frankie had a dinner date, so he was leaving early. Benny wanted to go to the fights. Finally, I had only one last worry. Maybe Big Willie wouldn't show up at all. But he did, right on the dot of 7. I told him that Benny would take care of him. He grunted at me and showed me his cigar-stained teeth. 20 minutes passed, then I heard Benny in the locker room. Big Willie was taking his steam bath. Benny?
Yeah?
I'll go take care of Big Willie. You take off, kid, huh? Go to the fights?
Yeah? Hey, thanks, Doc. Thanks.
Then I walked across the gym and stepped up into the steam room. Big Willie was sitting on the tile ramp, a big towel wrapped around his middle. How you doing, Willie? Oh, we're not speaking, huh?
I got nothing to say to you.
No, I got plenty to say to you. Now sit down.
Hey, what do you think you're pushing around?
Shut up and listen.
Maybe you got a short memory. Maybe you forgot what happened to you the other night.
I remember.
Are you sucking around for some more of the same?
You know, Big Willie, you don't look so hot, all wrapped up in a wet towel. No wonder she hates your guts.
I'm getting out of here. I don't have to listen to this.
You ain't going anywhere, Big Willie, ever again. This is your last stop.
Benny! Benny!
Won't do any good, Willie. There's nobody out there. Just you and me. You got nobody to back you up now. And I don't need anybody. How you like that, Willie, huh?
Why, you...
Willie! You're out of condition, fat man.
Oh, wait a minute. Now, wait a minute, son. Let me tell you something.
Yeah, well, make it fast.
You ain't the first.
What do you mean?
With her. And you won't be the last, either.
With that, you get another one.
No, listen. Listen, I tell you, she ain't worth it. But if you want her, you can have her.
Yeah, well, that's really generous of you, Willie.
But you won't keep her long.
Well, you are a rat, aren't you? A dirty, miserable rat.
No. No, please, no more. No more.
You can take your steam bath now, Willie. A nice long one. In private. Hey, what the... Hello?
Zach? Zach, don't do it.
Huh? What?
Don't do it, Zach.
It's done. He's in the steam room now. Maybe you can hear him screaming.
Oh, let him out, Zach. The police.
Police?
Yes, they were here looking for him.
Well, why?
Well, I don't know, but they wanted to know where he was, and I told them.
You told them?
Well, I had to. Zach, I didn't think you'd do so soon. I didn't want you to get into trouble. Oh, Zach, don't do it.
I'll talk to you later, baby. I'll talk to you later. Yeah, Willie! Yeah, just a minute, Willie, boy! Oh, no. It's stuck. The valve's stuck. Just a minute, Willie, just a minute. I'll open the door, Willie. Oh, it's locked. It's locked. The lock sprung when I closed it. Now, the key. Where's the key? Wait a minute, Big Willie. Now, wait. The key must be here somewhere. No, the key. I've got to find that key.
Is this the key you're looking for, Weston?
What?
Police Lieutenant Arnold. Here, Sergeant. Unlock the door.
Willie was still alive when they got him out of the steamboat. So they put him away for a long, long time. On, of all things, income tax evasion. After the judge heard my story, I ended up with 1 to 2 years for assault with a deadly weapon. Sentence suspended. I bet it's the first time that a steam room was ever called a deadly weapon. Joyce? Well, Big Willie was right about her. I hear she's in Chicago now with one of the boys from back east. I guess they had more than one reason for wanting to get rid of Big Willie. And when I stop to think of it, in a way, I can't blame them.
Suspense, in which Lloyd Bridges starred in William N. Robeson's production of Rub Down and Out by Richard George Pedicini. Supporting Lloyd Bridges in Rub Down and Out were Tracy Roberts, William Conrad, Eddie Marr, and Jack Crucian. Listen again next week when we return with another tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
This is the United States Armed Forces Radio and Television Service. Suspense. And the producer of radio's outstanding theater of thrills, the master of mystery and adventure, William N. Robeson.
You can't say we haven't been warned. From cradle to the grave, we are piously advised that the love of money is the root of all evil. We are urged to be moderate in all things, and we are reminded of the futility of greed by aphorism and fable. But it doesn't do much good, for there seems to be a little larceny lurking in the best of us, and one place where it's sure to show is at the roulette table around which the action of our story revolves tonight. Listen then as John Lund stars in Win or Lose All, which begins in exactly 1 minute.
Another visit with Joe and Daphne Forsythe.
Joe?
Yeah, Daphne.
Look at this story about savings bonds in the paper.
Yeah? What about it?
Do you think that's the best way to tell people about savings bonds?
Why not? Look, see, it says here that savings bonds are a guaranteed investment. Right now, they pay off at the rate of $4 at maturity for every $3 invested. You're not convinced? Why not?
No salesmanship.
No salesmanship? What more do you need to know? Why, right now, more than 8 million Americans are buying saving bonds regularly through the payroll savings plan.
So?
So what?
That's what I say. So what?
Now look, Daphne, if millions of Americans are convinced that saving bonds are their best investment, not only financially, but for the future of their country, what the heck is bothering you?
Well, I think they could sell a lot more with salesmanship. You know, slogans and jingles. Listen, if you're spending more and saving less, try a savings bond.
Oh, boy.
Or maybe savings bond pay good, like an investment should.
Daphne.
You get a lot to like in a savings bond. Interest, earnings guaranteed.
Wow.
Well, did I sell you?
Yeah, but I forgot what it was you were selling.
Savings bond.
I'll take 100.
Oh, Joe.
And now, Winner Lose All, starring John Lund. A tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
Las Vegas, the sucker city, the land of the money cow. And in my pocket I had a permit to milk it, a system to beat the wheel. But first I had to convince one of the farmers tending the cow that I wasn't going to take too much. And that wasn't going to be easy. After about a week of nosing around, I decided on the place I was going to hustle. The owner was a guy named Carlin, Walter Carlin. And he wasn't doing as well as he wanted to, but then... Who is?
Come in.
Mr. Carlin?
That's right. Who are you?
My name is Bob Richards. I've got a proposition for you.
Goodbye, Mr. Richards.
Now listen to me for 1 minute.
I said goodbye, Mr. Richards.
But I want to give you something for nothing.
Nobody ever gave anybody something for nothing.
I will. Guaranteed.
All right. You got 1 minute. Make your pitch.
When was the last time you had a spread in the New York Times?
Ah, come on, son. Quit playing. This is a small place compared to the joints out in the Strip.
And you're not only small, but your business is way off. Isn't it, Mr. Carlin?
I said I'd give you a minute to make a pitch, not to discuss my business.
That's part of my pitch. I can put this place on the front page of every newspaper in the country.
Keep talking. You have 30 seconds.
Okay. I've got a system for roulette.
Oh, come on.
Oh, I know everybody's got some kind of a system, but I got one that'll win. Now, the only trouble is when the house finds somebody's got a winning system, the table's closed after a while, or the betting's limited. Now, here's my pitch. You let me win $200,000.
$200,000?
Now, let me finish. You let me win $200,000. It'll take about a month to 40 days. All I want for my share is $50,000 in cash. And you got yourself $1 million worth of publicity.
You expect to walk in here, take $200,000 out, then return $150 when you're finished? I wouldn't even trust myself to do that.
I didn't expect to take the $200,000 out. Now, that's too tempting.
Huh?
The house can keep my winnings for me until such time as I decide to quit, which in this case will be $200,000.
I don't know.
Remember those two college kids and what they did for that joint in Reno? And they only went for a couple of weeks and a few grand.
You're sure your system works?
What do you care? If it works, you're in. If it doesn't, I lose my own dough.
All right. On one condition.
Name it.
Stretch it out to 2 months, and you got a deal. I can really use that kind of publicity.
Okay.
When do you want to start?
Tonight.
Fine. Oh, just one more thing, Richards.
Yeah?
Be a smart boy. Don't try anything that might get you into trouble.
Well, the only thing that could possibly get me in trouble is your $200,000. And how could I possibly get my hands on it? See you later, Mr. Carlin. After I finish this trick here, honey, we'll head for Rio, Buenos Aires, Monte Carlo, the whole circuit. Everywhere we go, we'll pick up a bundle like this one.
Oh, Bobby, you are the clever one.
Well, naturally, I picked you, didn't I?
Bobby,
Yeah?
When do we get married?
As soon as I turn this trick.
Well, why not now?
Because I want the South America trip to be a honeymoon. Okay?
Okay.
Well, I gotta get going.
Maybe I'll drop in later and watch you.
No.
Well, why not?
Stay out of there. I don't want anybody to know about you.
Well, what's the matter? You ashamed of me?
Oh, of course not. But I want him to think I'm a lone wolf. It's safer that way. Be there, baby. Be there.
24, Blackie. Hey!
That'll cost you $1,080, Doty.
Yes, sir, Mr. Richards. You've got a real hot streak going. A real hot streak.
Well, that's it for now, Stoney.
Be back tomorrow, Mr. Richards?
Why not? This first week is only the beginning.
00 green.
Pay me. I guess I'm just lucky, Stoney. Just lucky.
Here are the figures for the week, Mr. Collin. You want detail or a quick rundown?
Just a quick rundown.
Okay. This is for the third week of operation since the kid came in with his system.
Mm-hmm.
He's into the house for about $83,000.
Got it?
In that same period, our gambling gains have doubled. The bar is 500% over, and see right here, the morning business is almost triple what it was 4 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there's another magazine crew coming in to do a layout this evening, too.
Well, take care of them. Give them everything they want, and don't let them spend a dime.
Mm-hmm.
It's cheap enough for the publicity we're getting.
Is that you, Bobby?
Yeah.
Hi. How'd you do tonight?
Oh, not bad. $9 grand.
How much is that altogether?
About 170,000.
Oh, then another week or so and it's over.
Annie, it's over as of tomorrow night.
What do you mean?
I'm taking it. All of it. Tomorrow night.
But what about your deal with Carlin?
Deals are for suckers. I know how I can get away with all of it. But you've got to help.
Oh, Bobby, I'm scared.
There's nothing to be scared of. Now, if you want to help me, say so now. If not, you'd better pack.
Well, sure, I'll help, but I'm scared.
All right. Now, I want you to buy a good used car tomorrow.
Well, why? We've got a car.
Will you stop arguing and listen to me?
Sure, Bobby.
Okay. Now, you leave here at 9:30 tomorrow evening. Drive north on Route 95.
Mm-hmm.
Now, 5 miles out of town, you turn around and park, heading toward town. When I leave, I'll drive to the same spot. Then I transfer to your car, and we head right back through town to L.A.
And then?
We're on our way to South America, baby. Free and clear. You couldn't really call it a gamble. It was a cinch bet. And the power of the press cinched it. I tipped Wally Campbell of National News Service to be at the joint that night with a photographer, and I was all set to make my play.
Aren't you going to bet this one, Mr. Richards?
Huh? Oh, yeah. 20 on black, 10 even, and 10 on the first 12.
Thank you. All bets down. Here we go.
Hiya, Bob. Oh, hiya, Wally. I'll be with you in a minute. Oh, by the way, I want to introduce you to Mr. Carlin. He owns this place. Mr. Carlin.
Yeah?
This is Wally Campbell of the National News Service.
Oh, how do you do?
Hello, Mr. Carlin.
8, black even.
Well, I guess that does it.
Taking a break, Richards?
No, Mr. Carlin. No, I quit.
Huh?
I figure the house owes me exactly, let's see, with what I have here, 2, 3, 350, exactly $179,550.
But
I want the croupier to have $550, so that leaves a round figure of $179,000.
Well, look.
I want it in cash, and I want it now. Wally, you can start taking pictures anytime now.
Yeah, all right. Hank, come on over here and set up, will you?
Stoney, the table is closed.
Yes, sir.
What are you trying to pull, Richards?
I'm not trying to pull anything. I just want my money, that's all.
Why, you lousy double-crossing chiseler, I'll take...
Wally, over here, will you?
Yeah, what do you want?
Mr. Carlin wants to make a statement.
Huh?
Go ahead, Mr. Carlin, make a statement.
Well, I really don't have much to say except...
Except this proves that your wheels are completely honest. Isn't that right, Mr. Carlin?
Yes, that's right. And Mr. Richards here proved it.
Yeah. My money, Mr. Carlin? Where's my money? In cash?
Stoney?
Yes, sir.
Get $179,000 from the cashier.
Yes, sir.
Now, look, the two of you stand in front of the wheel by that pile of chips there, will you? No, a little to your right, Bob.
Here?
Yeah, that's it. That's fine.
You sure you know what you're doing, Richards?
I knew when I came here.
I won't quit looking, you know that.
Sure, but you won't find me.
Now, look, pick up a handful of chips, Mr. Carlin, and give it to Bob, will you?
I'll find you.
Yeah, that's right.
I wouldn't bet on it.
Yeah, that's fine.
I would.
That's fine.
In fact, I'm betting $179,000 on it.
In a moment, we continue with the second act of Suspense.
The evolution of a medal. In 1847, during the war with Mexico, Congress established a citation award for conspicuous service by members of the United States Army. This was the Certificate of Merit, strictly for Army enlisted men. In 1891, almost a half century later, non-commissioned officers became eligible to receive the certificate. No medal went with this award until 1905, when a coin-shaped medal in bronze bearing a Roman eagle was approved and adopted. The suspension ribbon was vertically striped in red, white, and blue. In July 1918, Congress abolished the Certificate of Merit, replacing it with the Distinguished Service Medal and the Distinguished Service Cross. The medal is awarded for exceptionally meritorious service to the government, while the cross is reserved to honor extraordinary heroism in connection with operations against an armed enemy. Before the Certificate of Merit was discontinued in 1918, 1,211 enlisted men had received the award. Given in recognition of gallantry in action or exceptionally meritorious service during time of peace, the Certificate of Merit retains an important place among America's historic medals.
And now, starring John Lund, Act Two of Winner Lose All.
It was easy. Almost too easy. I found myself with $179,000 done up in a nice gray canvas bag like they use in the bank. Now all I had to do was meet Annie, change cars, and I had it made. Annie's a nice kid. A $50,000 type kid. Not a $179,000 type. But for now, I needed her. For now. Maybe later I wouldn't.
Is that you, Bobby?
Yeah, it's me.
Oh, boy, I began to get worried.
Well, I'm here. Now get going.
Is everything okay?
I said let's get going.
All right.
I'm getting into the back seat. I'm going to stay down on the floor. Drive easy and legal, and as soon as we're on the other side of town, let me know. Till then, don't say anything and don't look back. Just drive.
His car was found north of town, about 5 miles out. I guess he got into another car there.
Well, then where'd he go?
Name it and you can have it. Tonopah to Reno, Barstow to L.A., Purdue to El Centro to Mexico.
Mm-hmm. Well, what do we do now?
Find him. Nobody suckers me, nobody. Call the boys in Reno, Carson City, Frisco, L.A. Tell them I want Bob Richards. Tell them I want him bad. And alive.
Bobby? Bobby? Hey, Bobby boy, where are you? Bobby! Hello?
Yeah, hello. This is the Apex Travel Service. We're calling Mr. Richards to confirm his reservation for one on the 8:55 Transpolar Flight 358 to Paris.
Pardon me?
Mr. Richards, his reservation for tonight.
Oh, for two?
No, for one.
I said, for who?
Oh, Mr. Richards.
What room did you want?
214.
Well, this is room 212. You got the wrong room.
No, I'm sorry.
Oh, Bobby boy. Bobby boy, what a rat you are.
Annie. What are you doing here? I told you to stay in your own room.
Yeah, but I got worried.
About what?
About you.
Oh, I can take care of myself now. Hello. Yes? Yes. Right. Thank you.
Who is that?
The airport reservations desk, confirming our reservations for tomorrow's flight to South America.
Tomorrow?
Yeah, 9 a.m. Now go back to your room and I'll see you on the plane tomorrow. I'll wait till the last minute before I board. Just playing it safe, you know?
Bobby, where's the money?
In a brand new suitcase stashed in one of those 24-hour lockers at the airport.
You don't miss a trick, do you?
I can't afford to, honey. Now be a good girl. Run along. I'll see you on the plane tomorrow morning.
So long, Bobby.
So long, Annie. See you tomorrow.
Yes, Bobby. Tomorrow. Operator, I want to make a person-to-person call to Mr. Walter Carlin in Las Vegas. Yes, that's right, and please hurry. Oh, why did you have to be such a rat, Bobby?
In a moment, we continue with the third act of Suspense.
We have together ample capacity and freedom to defend freedom. This is NATO, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. In addition to the obvious military organizations and commands of NATO, civilian council committees under the International Staff and Secretariat are constantly at work coordinating political affairs, information services, economic matters, production, logistics, scientific affairs, civil emergency planning, and financial problems concerned with the maintenance of this vast and vigorous alliance. The United States of America is a part of NATO. You should be aware of and alert to the objectives and programs of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization.
And now, starring John Lund, Act 3 of Winner Lose All.
Please report to Customs Gate 21.
Say there, pardon me, but is this Customs Gate 21?
Yeah.
You taking the transpolar?
Yeah?
Business?
Combination.
Uh-huh. Say, it's a nice suitcase you have there.
Thanks.
I'll bet you it holds a lot of money.
What's that?
Might even hold $179,000.
Why, you...
Right now, you're lucky. Don't stretch it. You get on that plane and you're dead.
What do you want me to do?
Now, that's your business. Just don't get on that plane.
You want me to go back to Vegas, don't you?
Well, now, sir, that's up to you.
And if I don't?
That's up to you, too.
Let me in, quick.
What's the matter, Bobby? You look pale.
They found me.
Who found you?
Carlin. I don't know how, but he found me.
Where'd they find you, Bobby? At the airport?
Yeah, they found me. What did you say?
They found you at the airport, didn't they, Bobby? Getting on the Paris plane just as I told them to.
Why, you
Mr. Carlin was very glad to know where to find you. $5,000 glad.
I'll break your neck.
No, you won't, Bobby. Mr. Carlin sent me a bodyguard, too. He's in the next room. Of course, he isn't as clever as you. But what good is clever? Do something clever now, Bobby. Better give Mr. Carlin his money, or bang, you're dead.
You got a bus that goes to Mexico?
Not direct. You change at San Diego for San Isidro, and you get a bus San Isidro to Tijuana.
Fine. How soon does it leave?
About an hour. 11:55 p.m.
Okay, give me a...
Bang, you're dead. Get on that bus and you're dead.
Leave me alone!
Like I said, don't stretch your luck.
Taxi!
Where do you want to go, mister?
Take me to Las Vegas.
Hey, that's more than 300 miles. Cost you a bundle.
I don't care what it costs. It's not my money. it is, Carlin. I spent about 1,000.
No, Bobby boy, I don't want it this way.
What?
Not this way.
Well, then how?
Go downstairs to one of the roulette wheels and start playing.
What, with your money?
That's right. But don't bet more than $50 at one time. You got a system? Lose with it. Lose the whole 178 grand.
But that'll take months.
That's right, Bobby boy. Months. But think of the publicity I'll get.
Suspense, in which Mr. John Lund starred in William N. Robeson's production of Win or Lose All by Ross Murray. Supporting Mr. Lund in Win or Lose All were Rita Lynn, Lou Merrill, Eddie Marr, Jack Crucian, and Sam Pierce. Listen. Listen again next week when we return with another tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
This is the United States Armed Forces Radio and Television Service. Suspense. And the producer of radio's outstanding theater of thrills, the master of mystery and adventure, William N. Robeson.
There are several areas in which the human race splits into antithetical groups. Cats, for instance. A person either likes cats or he hates them. Or the moon. There are those who want to visit it, and there are others who prefer to use moonlight for the purpose God intended. And then there's hunting. Some men must prove their manhood by bagging bigger and bigger game. To others, wanton killing is sickness. Our story concerns two such men and a wounded lion. A story we believe will indeed keep you in suspense. Listen then as Everett Sloane stars in Game Hunt, which begins in exactly 1 minute.
Memo on medals. Interesting information about our military awards and decorations. Our nation's fourth highest combat award is the Silver Star Medal, a small silver star encircled by a wreath in the center of a larger bronze star. The ribbon from which this simple yet dramatic medal is suspended has a vertical center stripe of red with alternating stripes of white and blue to the edges. The Silver Star is awarded to individuals, both military and civilian, who distinguish themselves by gallantry and intrepidity in action under orders of a general officer. The medal was first authorized July 9, 1918, but eligibility for the award was made retroactive to include action in the Spanish-American War and the Philippine insurrection of 1898. Many thousands of brave servicemen have been honored with this cherished award, the Silver Star, a symbol of dedication and great devotion to the cause of freedom.
And now, Game Hunt, starring Everett Sloane. A tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
The day had begun much the same as the other mornings on safari. We had left the base camp deep in the Kenya country before a cloudy dawn broke. Now we were advancing through the waist-high grass of the savannah. There were three of us. Howard Babson, a rich American from Chicago.
Elams and kudos and gazelles are all very well, but I came down here for lion.
And there was a mission-educated native tracker whose unpronounceable Maasai name had been simplified to Charlie.
You don't worry, Bwana. This lion country. Good lion country.
And lastly, there was me, Jeffrey R. Cross. I'm a white hunter, professional. For a price, I will lead anyone to big game, see that he bags it, and send him home loaded with trophies and convinced that he's the world's most fearless marksman. But the business is not without danger. That's why we start a customer off killing harmless animals before we lead him to the man-eaters, hoping that he will gain confidence in himself and his gun before he's called upon to make the shot he must not miss.
Let's get on with it, R-Cross.
We're waiting for Charlie.
But why? Our eyes are as good as his. I'll know a lion when I see one.
Oh, yes, I'm sure you will, Mr. Babson. But the lions you'll see are not behind bars in the circus. It's one thing to recognize a lion, it's quite another to understand him. Charlie understands him.
What was that?
Charlie, behind you. You see, Mr. Babson? You didn't hear him. Neither did I. Neither does a lion.
Bwana, big one, not far. He feed on zebra in clearing. He carry great mane.
Well, let's go then.
Shell in your chamber?
You think I'm stupid, R-Cross?
Just wanted to be sure. That's why you're paying me.
All right, let's go.
The wind is shifting some, Charlie.
It will work with us long enough, I think.
You think that because you're a lazy beggar and you want to stay on the game trail instead of fighting the bush?
No. Wind will help us long enough. There, Bwana.
Let's go. There you are. There's your trophy. A black mane.
Oh, he's big. It's a beauty. Can he smell us?
Not with the nose full of zebra blood he's got. The wind, Charlie.
It stays same.
You won't be able to take him the way he is, low behind the zebra, Babson. But he's bound to move before long. So settle into a good position and relax.
He's a monster.
He looked good on your wall, Babson.
Yes, and I got just the place for him.
You know, the sun came up today for him, just like every other day. But it's the last sun he'll see, thanks to you and to Charlie and to me.
You developing a guilty conscience, R-Cross?
I'm getting tired of killing, that's all. Killing is bad unless it's for food or to save your own life.
Wanna look. Wife is coming.
Ah, yes. She's prettier. Careful, Babson. He'll move now.
Oh?
Take your time. He's only chasing the old lady off. He'll be back and give you a good shot as he comes.
Oh?
No, Babson. Not now. Not now! Why did you fire?
I hit him!
Your gut shot him. He can live for days or weeks.
He go into elephant grass.
Yes, always the meanest place to find him. Well, there's your trophy, Mr. Babson. He's wounded and holed up, and he's the most dangerous animal in the world right now. You want to go in after him?
No, I don't know enough about it.
Well, you thought you knew enough to fire when I told you not to.
But we hunted over a week for a good head. That's all I was thinking of when I saw him running away. I wanted him.
Right now, he wants you, Mr. Babson. You stay here. Charlie and I'll go in and try and get him.
Why don't you leave him? He'll die. I know I hit him well.
Not well enough. It's against the game laws to leave a wounded animal. And he'll charge any man he sees until he dies.
In a moment, we continue with the second act of Suspense.
Another visit with Joe and Daphne Forsythe.
Hey, honey, I'm home. Daphne.
Drop dead.
Uh-oh, what's the matter, honey?
Don't you speak to me, you Don Juan.
Don Juan? Daphne, I'm no Don Juan. No habla español.
Very funny. Ha, ha, ha.
Well, it was no prize winner, but...
Neither are you Lothario.
I've often wondered, what's a Lothario?
I don't know, but that's what the wives on TV always call their husbands. I guess it applies.
Do you want me to go out and come in again?
As far as I'm concerned, you can go for a long walk, preferably on a short pier.
Well. Oh, come on, Daphne. What's wrong?
Your good friend Harry called, and he spilled the beans.
Which beans?
He said, quote, "Tell Joe he was right about those blondes. They're great," unquote.
Blondes?
That's what he said. Well?
He didn't say blondes. He said bonds. Savings bonds.
What?
Sure, I buy 'em on the payroll savings plan. And I told Harry he ought to do it too. Savings bonds have a guaranteed interest that pays back $4 for every 3, which is a pretty good investment.
That's a pretty good story, too.
It's true, so help me. That's why Harry's so happy. Savings bonds are great.
Well, maybe you're right. You wouldn't really fool around with blondes, would you? You're too faithful and sweet and kind and...
Fast talking.
And now, starring Everett Sloane, Act 2 of Game Hunt.
Along with my services and my knowledge, Mr. Babson had bought my courage. And I was cheating my customer because I no longer had that much courage for sale. When Charlie and I entered the high grass, he was carrying not only my heavy rifle, but my canteen filled with brandy. I finally got so I hate them, Charlie. I've disliked them for a long time, but now I hate them.
Which one?
The trophy hunters, the lords and the movie stars and the millionaires, the complainers about the sun and the rain and the flies. I hate them.
For me, I hate tall elephant grass.
The elephant grass belongs here. It grows so that gut-shot lions will have a place to hide. This lion knew all along that one day a gut shooter had stopped making money in Chicago and come to visit Africa.
That way. He went into grass beyond High Anthill.
A nasty stand of cover. Grass over 8 feet high.
Yes, Buana.
You can't see 15 paces into it. It'll take our friend only the time of a breath to cover that distance. Well, let's look for sign.
Look, Buana. Blood. Dark, thick. Come from deep inside.
No artery cut, though. He's a slow bleeder. A ruddy slow bleeder. Give me the canteen, Charlie.
We could wait, Buana. Our friend will stiffen.
Yes, only the wind isn't for us now, Charlie. Coming in from every quarter. We'll get our scent from any direction.
The smell of rain now, too.
I don't catch it. Are you sure?
It comes soon, I think.
If you smell up a rain, the blood spore will be washed away. You smell too much. You've smelled the fear that's in me, haven't you?
For first time.
You're an insolent beggar.
You asked me, Buana. Look ahead where he lay down. See? His head was here, looking this way.
Yes. Down the back trail, waiting for us.
See? Claw signs. He is close enough that he caught our scent and got up and ran. He has not stiffened.
And he's waiting again, up ahead.
He has nothing else to do.
No. You've got a wife and children, Charlie. How are they?
They eat well. The doctor has done much to stop sickness.
When did you see them last?
Before this hunt.
You must want to get back to them as quickly as possible, huh?
Yes, Buana.
The lion's wife.
She come closer.
What direction? Where is she?
The wind is against us now.
You don't know where she is?
No, Buana.
Give me the canteen. You ever been to Nairobi, Charlie?
Yes, Buana.
Did you like it?
No. Too many people, too much noise.
I hate the city, too. But I found something there. A reason to live, I mean. A woman. She said she'd be my wife. I've never had a wife.
A wife is good.
Not with this kind of business in the elephant grass. When you think of a wife, you don't do well with a gut-shot lion. Then the rain began to fall, and the center of the stand of grass was now a place of dull gray light and darker shadows. Do you still find sign in this muck, Charlie?
Too much. We stay on old trail. His wife has been to him.
Has been to him?
See? His tracks.
Look at the size of that forepaw. He's bigger than I thought.
And here, her tracks, going other way.
What? That puts her behind us now.
Yes, Buana. Now she hunts us.
In just a moment, we continue with the third act of Suspense.
We have together ample capacity in freedom to defend freedom. This is NATO, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. NATO nations trust each other. Proof? Well, since the advent of NATO, the amount of information which member governments exchange concerning their armed forces and their economic and financial positions is greater and more detailed than any which allies have ever before exchanged, whether in time of war or peace. The United States of America is a part of NATO. You should be aware of and alert to the objectives and programs of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization.
And now, starring Everett Sloane, Act 3 of Game Hunt.
He is close, Buana. Blood spore is here again. Very close, or rain would have washed it away. See?
Yes. Very close, Charlie. Give me the brandy.
I have never seen this in you before.
Nairobi fear. And I'm not ashamed to show it to you because you're my friend. I'm going to quit this business. Get a city job. A nice, safe, dull job in the city where you go home every night after work. I've been a good...
And she's still behind us.
I've been a good hunter. It's been said that I think like an animal when I'm on a stalk. And I know what the game is going to do before it's done it.
I have seen this with you.
Not anymore. After Nairobi, it left me. After the woman, I thought only as a man. But the female crossed the trail. Did you see her?
Yes, Buana.
I'm going to put her out of the way. You can't have her trailing along behind. Where is she, Charlie? It was close to here that she crossed.
Ahead, Buana. You see? Small grass broken.
I see it now. Come on. Babson. If he fired it, I hope he did better than the last time.
Arcross!
Are you all right?
I'm fine. I got the female.
Bend some of the grass against the wind so we can locate you.
Here she is. Never did see me. Lying with her back to me in the trail, looking in your direction, I guess.
Waiting for us. We were stalking each other.
When she got up to move to the side, I had my sights on her shoulder. Simple as that. Isn't she a beauty?
Lovely. Her head will go well next to the male's.
Where is he?
Well, we've been only a few paces away from him, but we haven't seen him yet. Now, Mr. Babson, I told you to stay out in the clearing. Why did you come in here?
Because I couldn't let you two finish a job that I bungled.
Well, I want you to go back out. You've done enough for us killing the female.
No, I'm going to stay with you. No, it was my excitement, my bad shooting that caused it all. I'm staying with you. I'd call myself a coward every time I looked at my trophies if I didn't.
All right. It's your privilege. But any time you feel like turning back, do it.
No, I won't turn back. I'm all right now.
Buana, here is where we were close to him. Rain wash away blood, but marks still show.
Yes, and they stay on the trail.
Not for long, I think.
Let's find out how long. Here we are. He's off to the left.
His back leg very bad now.
I feel good now, Charlie. No Nairobi.
What does that mean, no Nairobi?
No. A vague term we sometimes use in our trade. Sort of uneasiness. Now, we'll move in a line a few paces apart. You on my left, Babson. Charlie on my right. When he decides to come, he'll charge anything that moves. So freeze when he starts. Charlie and I will draw his attention and swing his charge toward us. Now, this isn't to favor you, Babson. It's to give you a better target.
Oh, I'll have him broadside, you mean?
Right. Don't move your position and keep firing until your rifle is empty. Reload, start firing again.
A few paces this way for me?
That's good. All right, Charlie. Take us to him.
Yes, Buana.
Charlie, ahead. You see the tops of the grass moving against the wind?
I see it.
It could mean he's down and can't get up. At any rate, we know where he is. Carefully now. He'll be less than 20 paces away when we first see him. There he comes! Don't fire!
No more!
We want him closer!
Oh, good Lord!
Now hold! Hold, Babson!
No.
We'll swing him this way!
I can't stay!
Freeze, Babson!
Can't hold! Don't run!
Open up, Charlie! I'm trying to break! Shoot! Does he die, Charlie?
He is dead, Buana.
He doesn't look it, Charlie. You'd think he's ready to charge again, wouldn't you?
He's dead.
Not for Mr. Babson, he isn't.
But Buana...
Get the trophy hunter and bring him here. Load his gun with expanding ammunition. Bullets to finish the thing. To smash it.
Yes, Buana. I understand.
I'm sorry that I ran, Arcross. I couldn't help it. There was nothing I could do.
Well, of course there wasn't. Your first time and all.
Yeah. Well, where is he?
Come here, I'll show you. Over there. You can just see his head.
Yes.
He'll be ready to charge again if we let him rest. I thought you'd like the final shots.
I would.
All right. Put your sights right under his ear and a bit to the front. Check the safety.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
I hit him?
Again. Don't take any chances. One more. That will do it, I think.
Well, let's look at him.
Well, congratulations, Mr. Babson. You've killed your lion.
Oh, but his head. He's worthless as a trophy. His head's blown to bits.
Yes, it's a shame. One of those things. I'm afraid it had to be this way. Yes, it had to be this way. Mr. Babson had not deserved his lion, and it seemed right to me that he should destroy it. It was not the first time that an already dead trophy had been ruined to show contempt of the millionaire gut shooters. It was a thing that the other white hunters would understand. About the other thing, the fear. Only she will understand it someday, when she's my wife. Understand and condone it, because it brought me back to her alive.
Suspense, in which Everett Sloane starred in William N. Robeson's production of Game Hunt by Gil Dowd. Supporting Mr. Sloane in Game Hunt were Lawrence Dobkin and Roy Glenn. Listen again next week when we return with another tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
Suspense has been brought to you through the worldwide facilities of the United States Armed Forces Radio and Television Service.
Suspense. And the producer of radio's outstanding theater of thrills, the master of mystery and adventure, William N. Robeson.
The story with the surprise ending is one of the most difficult to write. Yet, the old switcheroo, as we call it in the trade, had fascinated readers for a long, long time before O. Henry virtually patented it. It's a difficult form because the switch must come logically out of the characters and their behavior, but it must come suddenly, unexpectedly, and at the very end of the story. You're about to hear a modern example, and we'll bet you all the red flags in communist China you can't guess the end until 25 minutes from now. Listen then as Mr. Herbert Marshall stars in The Long Shot, which begins in exactly 1 minute from now.
Another visit with Joe and Daphne Forsythe.
Joe. 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 Joseph!
Yeah, I'm up. Pour the coffee. I'll be right in.
Relax. It's 3 in the morning.
Huh?
I said relax. It's 3 in the morning.
I was relaxed. Daphne, why did you wake me up?
Well, I was just wondering what happened to our savings bonds.
You were what?
I had a dream. I dreamed you lost all of your money and all we had left were our savings bonds.
I see.
So I just wanted to make sure they were all right.
They're all right. They're with the other important papers.
You're sure?
Of course I'm sure.
Well, I just don't want anything to happen to them. Savings bonds are the most secure form of investment. Why, the whole faith and credit of the United States stand behind those bonds of ours.
Uh-huh.
So they're even better than dollars in your pocket because the government stands behind them and protects them.
Uh-huh.
And they protect us too, Joe. Every bond is an investment in our country, in our security and freedoms. Joe? Well, how about that? He feels so secure he went back to sleep. Good night, darling.
And now, The Long Shot, starring Herbert Marshall. A tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
Very well then, Lieutenant. If you're ready to take it down, here's my statement. It seems a year, but I guess it's only 10 days since I was sitting in the lobby of the Astor Hotel in New York with 28 cents in my pocket. It had been a dreadful season at the track. So there I was, stony. Somebody had discarded the afternoon paper, and I picked it up. It was folded to the classified section, and my eyes fell upon a most intriguing ad in the Help Wanted column. Englishman will pay $150 and expenses to fellow countryman, preferably Londoner, in return for services as driver and traveling companion on automobile trip to San Francisco. This was the answer to all my problems. And a quarter hour later, I presented myself at the door of my unwitting benefactor's quarters.
Yes?
I've come about your advertisement.
Oh, yes. Step inside, please.
Thank you.
You have a chair.
Thank you.
You're English, I presume?
Yes, indeed.
A Londoner, I hope?
Born and bred.
Well, I must say that's a relief. I've been plagued with applicants all day, not a Londoner in the lot. You see, the old town's sort of a fetish with me. A man can't really consider himself civilized unless he's a Londoner.
Quite.
You say you were born there?
Oh, yes, in Vigo Street, just off St. James's Square. August 18th, 1910. Know the town like the inside of my hat.
Vigo Street? I'm not sure I know it.
It turns right off Sackville Street and runs some little way before it reaches Regent Street.
Oh, yes. I place it now. Well, you seem to be the genuine article. Tell me, why are you interested in going to San Francisco?
You know anything about horse racing, Mr...
No, I'm sorry. My name is Hendricks, Walker Hendricks.
Mine's Kelly Raymond.
Well, how do you do, Mr. Raymond? No, I can't say that I do particularly. Been to Epsom Downs on a few occasions.
I see. Well, I've become rather fond of the horses. I might even say financially dependent on them. And with Bay Meadows opening shortly...
Bay Meadows?
There's a race course near San Francisco.
Oh, I see. Well, you have business that takes you to San Francisco, and so have I. And I just couldn't face making the trip alone, or even worse, with an American. That's why I advertised. And what a stroke of luck to find you. Not only a fellow countryman, but a fellow Londoner. Excuse me. Hello? Oh, yes. Well, I'm dreadfully sorry, but I just hired a man.
I was sitting pretty. The only thing I was afraid of was death from sheer boredom, because from the moment we started out, all Mr. Hendricks talked about was London.
Have you spent much time in Soho, Raymond?
I never lived there, if that's what you mean.
No. I mean the restaurants and so on. Do you know them?
You see now, there's the Moroccan... No, what was it? Oh, the Algerian Cafe in Dean Street, isn't it?
Quite right, the Algerian in Dean Street.
A big French woman ran it. We used to call her Madame Couscous.
Quite. As a matter of fact, I saw her there only a short time ago.
Seems to be she died a few years back.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you probably met her daughter.
Yes, no doubt. There's a sign. Cleveland, 38 miles.
Spend the night there, I expect.
Good idea. Now, let's see, where were we? Oh, yes, we were talking about Soho.
Yes, we were talking about Soho, and we continued to talk about it the rest of the way to Cleveland and most of the night in the hotel room. I began to think the man doubted my authenticity and was trying to trip me up. Next day, we covered Whitechapel, Fleet Street, Bloomsbury, Mayfair. He still hadn't stuck me, but I was beginning to feel like a well-thumbed Baedeker's guide by the time we reached Chicago. As soon as we checked into our hotel room, I tried to get away from him for a while. Say, Mr. Hendricks, I wonder if I might have a small advance on my salary.
Well, I suppose so.
It's still rather early, and I thought I might look over the Windy City.
Yes, of course, Raymond. Here, let me open my valise. Now, this infernal lock is always acting up. There we are. 20 be enough?
Fine, thanks.
Hey, look here, I believe I'll join you. Stretch the legs a bit, eh?
There was a horse-choking wad of bills in that valise, but I was so burned at him tagging along, I didn't give it a thought then. My favorite joint was just around the corner from the hotel, a hangout for touts and bookies. But I didn't see anybody I knew at first. We had a club sandwich, and at Mr. Hendricks' request, I was expounding scholastically on the difference between Chicago and London bacon when...
Kelly!
Tommy!
Good to see you, Kelly.
I thought you were in Miami.
Leaving in a couple of days. How about coming along?
I can't. I'm on my way to San Francisco. Oh, this is, Mr. Hendricks? Tommy DeWitt.
How are you?
How do you do?
Listen, Kelly, I got to talk to you. I got a big deal cooking.
I'm afraid
You don't mind excusing us for a minute, do you, Mr. Hendricks?
No, go on, please.
Look, Kelly, I'll get right to the point. We bought us some jockeys. It's coming up next week at Hialeah. 500 will get you 10 grand on the parlay.
But I've got to drive that stiff to San Francisco.
What if you just walked down?
I suppose I could. But where do I get 500?
Has he got any money?
No, I don't. Wait a minute. That valise.
Huh?
You're sure this can't lose?
I'm positive.
All right, listen. You go back to the booth and keep Hendricks busy for a few minutes. Tell him I have to make a phone call or something. I'll meet you at the IC station in half an hour. I stepped out through the kitchen, and in 2 minutes I was back in our room at the hotel. There was the valise, just as he'd left it, and to make things even easier, the faulty catch wasn't locked. There was $680 in $20 bills in the wallet and a sheaf of legal-looking documents in the portfolio next to it. I glanced at them idly as I pocketed the money. On top was a letter from a law firm in San Francisco. It was dated 2 months ago and addressed to Hendricks in Bedford Park, London. It said, "Since you are completely unknown personally to either relatives or legal counsel in the United States, it has been necessary to establish proof of your right to your uncle's estate entirely by documentary evidence, and we are happy to state that such proof is now thoroughly established. We ask that you present yourself at your earliest convenience at our San Francisco law offices so that final disposition of the estate may be accomplished. Birth certificate, affidavits from friends, notarized statement from the Department of Records, a sheaf of letters." It was a long shot. A long shot that would pay off at least $100,000. Everything. Every affidavit and statement was a guarantee of Walker Hendricks, the bearer. And to tie it up tighter, one of the letters said pictures wouldn't be necessary, just the passport. And I knew a place in San Francisco that made passports to order. A long shot. But did you ever see odds like that?
In a moment, we continue with the second act of Suspense.
Memo on medals. Information about our military awards and decorations. The highly honored Legion of Merit is a 5-pointed white star of heraldic form bordered by purple-red enamel. In the center of this beautiful decoration is a constellation of 13 white stars on a blue field, breaking through a gold circle of clouds. Backing the star is a green enamel laurel wreath, interlaced with crossed war arrows in gold pointing outward. The ribbon is purple-red, edged with white. The Legion of Merit can be awarded to any personnel of the Armed Forces of the United States and of the government of the Philippines, and to personnel of the armed forces of friendly nations who have distinguished themselves by exceptionally meritorious conduct in the performance of outstanding services. When awarded to the military of other countries, the Legion of Merit is divided into 4 ranks: Chief Commander, Commander, officer, and legionnaire, depending upon the degree of the service we honor. Since its creation by act of Congress in 1942, the Legion of Merit has become a highly honored symbol of our nation's acknowledgement of the bravery and dedication of free men.
And now, starring Herbert Marshall, Act Two of The Long Shot.
Yes, it was a long shot. Anyway, I put the papers and the money back in the valise and called Tommy DeWitt. Told him the Hialeah deal was off, but there wasn't any money in the room. And the next morning, Hendricks and I left Chicago westbound on Route 30, and old London town rode with us.
You were saying you know the George Inn, Raymond?
Yeah, but it's not in London proper. It's in Southwark on the other side of the river.
Oh, I believe you're right at that. Rare old inn, the George, with its posting yard.
I did a lot of thinking during those long, dull miles across the plains. In Omaha, it had looked like a cinch, but by the time we hit Cheyenne, I began to waver a little. And when we rolled into Salt Lake City, I was almost ready to give up the whole idea. It was too cut and dried. Too easy for a long shot. Almost like a trap someone set for me with $100 grand as the bait. And once I went for it, there'd be no turning back. It was a good gamble. But the stakes were too high, and there was no way of telling what the payoff would be without tossing everything on the line. That's what I was thinking at about 6 o'clock last Wednesday night when we pulled up in front of the Wasatch Hotel in Salt Lake.
By Jove, I'll be glad to wash up. That prairie country is appalling.
It's good to have some trees for a change.
Yeah, pretty town, Salt Lake. You have an aunt here, you know.
How long since you've seen her?
Well, I've never seen her. I don't intend to. She's a sister of my mother's, Marguerite Stoddard. Thoroughly Americanized, I understand, and probably a frightful bore.
Probably. That was just as if I'd asked for it. A way of telling about that payoff ahead of time. A laboratory test right there in Salt Lake City with nothing to lose if it didn't work out. I got away from Hendricks after dinner, found Marguerite Stollett's address in the phone book, and took a cab out to her house.
Yes?
Good evening. Are you Mrs. Marguerite Stoddard?
Yes.
I'm Walker Hendricks.
Walker? I just can't believe it. Come in. Please make yourself comfortable.
Thank you.
Well, you're a pleasant surprise, Walker.
I suppose I am, Aunt... I may call you Aunt Marguerite, mayn't I?
Of course you may. Well, I expected you to be a little more like,
Like who?
Well, perhaps I'd better not mention it.
Oh, please do. I think we should discuss everything, don't you?
Of course I do. You'll never know how much your Uncle Gerald regretted what he did.
You mean the will?
No, long before that. Your mother never told you, I suppose?
No, she never mentioned her family.
I don't suppose she would. After all, she loved your father, and your Uncle Gerald hated him.
And so Uncle Gerald forced her to leave home?
Yes. I know Gerald would have been the last to admit it, but I've always felt the will was his stubborn way of making it up to her.
Perhaps.
Well, I'm sure of it. But at least you will benefit, Walker, now that there's nothing any of us can do for your poor mother.
If there was any doubt in my mind, it disappeared then and there. The American branch of the family knew absolutely nothing of Cecily Hendricks from the time she left home until her brother, Gerald, died, leaving her $100,000. At that point, they made a pretty thorough search, found both she and her husband had died in England, and their son, Walker, was the only heir. Everything I needed was back in the hotel in that valise. It's 521 miles from Salt Lake to Reno, but I convinced Hendricks we could make it in one jump. I had a special reason. We had to hit the desolate section of central Nevada about midnight. When you get right down to it, killing a man is a pretty tough job, even when it's as perfect as this was going to be.
For once, I was thankful for London. It gave us something to talk about, and there was so much in my mind that I might have given myself away in silence. So I prattled on like a phonograph.
Oh, yeah, good old Wapping.
Yes, Wapping. There's a lovely pub there called the Prospect at Whitby.
Oh, don't believe I know it.
No, I'm not surprised. There's an amazing thing about London. It seems that the greenest tourist knows more about it than the Londoners themselves.
Well, I'd say you've done rather well.
Mainly because I've been on my own since I was 14. Now, you take yourself, for example. 10 to 1, you've never been in Petticoat Lane. But a marvelous place. Regular Oriental bazaar right in the heart of the city. Booths and peddlers selling every kind of junk you can imagine. At midnight, we were somewhere between Winnemucca and Reno, passing through some barren hills. I knew the time had come, and my hands began to shake so much I had to grab the wheel with both of them. I felt beneath the cushion where I'd put the wrench. It was still there. Finally, I held my breath and pulled over on the shoulder.
I say, what are you stopping for?
Look, over there, the moonlight on that cliff.
Oh, I say, yes, that is lovely.
It was all over. I never knew what hit him. I turned up the lights and pulled the body out on the right-hand side. We hadn't passed a car for an hour, so I wasn't worried much about being seen. He was pretty heavy, but I managed to carry him over my shoulder. About a quarter of a mile from the road, I found a small cave at one side of the ravine. I shoved the body in and rolled a large rock over the opening. It started a small landslide which completely covered the hole. No one could possibly find it. I had just about gotten back to the road when I saw something that stopped me dead in my tracks. There, behind my car, was another one, with a seal on the door. The seal of the state of Nevada.
In just a moment, we continue with the third act of Suspense.
We have together ample capacity and freedom to defend freedom. This is NATO, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. The extensive and varied grouping of NATO military forces called for the establishment of several unique supporting organizations. Among them, the Military Agency for Standardization, London, the Advisory Group on Aeronautical Research and Development, Paris, and the NATO Defense College, also in Paris. All are vital subordinates in the complex of the NATO defense program. The United States of America is a part of NATO. You should be aware of and alert to the programs and objectives of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization.
And now, starring Herbert Marshall, Act 3 of The Long Shot.
Nobody was in the patrol car. The officer must be wandering around looking for me. I lifted the hood of my car and knocked the battery cable off one of the terminals. Then I waited and waited while the coyotes jeered at me from the hills. At last he appeared from the other side of the highway.
Hi there. What's the trouble?
Oh, I don't know, officer. She just went dead on me. I was having a look up the road when you arrived.
Say she went dead on you?
Yeah. The lights went out. Motor just died.
Been under the hood?
Wouldn't do much good, I'm afraid. I'm pretty green at that sort of thing.
Well, let me have a look at it.
Would you please?
See, hey, battery cable's jarred loose, mister. You got a wrench?
Yeah, here.
Yeah, thank you. Twist it. There you are. Yeah, try it now.
That looked pretty simple.
Yeah, it was.
Ah, there she goes. Thanks ever so much.
That's okay. Let's see, your name's Hendricks, huh?
Yes.
Checked your registration slip. You're a long way from home.
Yes, I am. Yeah, that's right. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome, sir. Good night.
Well, there it is, Lieutenant. It was a long shot that was a sure thing until I found you waiting for me in the attorney's office. Even then, I'd have gotten away with it if you hadn't told me that the body had been found. Well, aren't you going to say something? Don't you still think I could have carried it off, Lieutenant?
Well, Raymond, we arrested you for the murder of Walker Hendricks. But it appears we were wrong.
Huh? What are you talking about?
It was a long shot, Raymond. And it was almost a sure thing. Maybe that's why both of you gambled on it.
What do you mean, both of us?
You and that guy you bumped off in Nevada.
That guy? Oh, that was Hendricks.
Oh, Hendricks was murdered, all right. But you didn't do it.
What?
You see, he beat you to it, Raymond.
Who beat me? I don't know.
Your traveling companion. He wasn't Hendricks. He was an out-of-work actor. He wasn't even an Englishman. That was why he was pumping you so much about London. He was, what do actors call it? Getting up in his part?
What are you talking about? I thought you found Hendricks' body in Nevada.
We haven't found a body in Nevada yet. But one thing's sure. Hendricks was never in Nevada. Poor guy never left New York. The New York police turned up the real Hendricks in the East River the day after you left town, chauffeuring for the guy who killed him.
Suspense, in which Herbert Marshall starred in William N. Robeson's production of The Long Shot by Harold Swanton. Supporting Mr. Marshall in The Long Shot were Florence Walcott, Ben Wright, Joe DeSantis, and Norm Alden. Listen. Listen again next week when we return with another tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
Suspense has been brought to you through the worldwide facilities of the United States Armed Forces Radio and Television Service.